What is going on, everyone out there in all the social media world? We are so excited to be back with I think, our fifth episode now, Mark. Like this is a streak we got going on, 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I know
But
we're doing all right with it, right?
of course, I mean, I think so. But we've got a lot of action going on coming up close to the football season starting, and of course, we like to be random with everything else. So we've got some awards that we're going to talk to about a little bit later, and of course, as always, our start, bench, cut. I don't know why every time I type it, I always want to put start, cut, bench, which is not the order, but I have to take a break and think before I type it out. But with that being said, before we get into bringing up our special guest, how you been doing today?
Well, overall, I'm doing good, but as you guys can hear, you're probably going to hear my voice go in and out. I tell everyone it sounds like we're going through puberty all over again because allergy season kind of hit me, and it's just got me where I'm having trouble talking.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are going to hear me squeak from time to time. So
Your
hello,
voice
Andrew.
finally
What's
matches
up?
your
What's going
face
on,
because
Matt, Johnny, Jay? We appreciate you guys tuning in. You just
of
have to bear
course,
with my voice because it's going to be squeaky.
guys.
Calling those ball games back into teaching. I talk nonstop. So there you heard it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen a lot.
Mark, I'm just gonna be honest with you. The only reason why I ever asked you to do this podcast with me was because of your voice. So right now, you're hurting me, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm bringing the show down. Definitely.
but now that we've got our introduction going on, guys, of course, as the bottom scrolls across there, go follow us on the social media platforms. It's basically at Cats Chat Pod on everything. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'd appreciate all the subscribes, the follows, the likes, and hit that notification bell, of course, too. One of these days, we might get kind of graphic and have the stuff pop up. I don't know how to do that stuff yet, but with that being said, Mark, you want to do the introductions?
Yeah, we have coming to the show today. We always like to bring different people on, and a mother-daughter duo that both played at UK at different times. I got to know them. I worked with Debbie for a while at HC,
What'd you say?
and Blair played at HC, and so we'd like to welcome Debbie and Blair Green. So there's Debbie and there's Blair. Welcome to the show,
Hello.
guys.
Here, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. And we do have a little bit of a lag either on my side. I don't know if, or a delay. I don't know. We'll just try to get through this and pause a little bit in between each people talking so we can make sure everything's being said because I'm random anyways. And as you can tell, I don't really hush. But guys, again, thank you all for joining on to the show. We're really excited to, one, have local people from Harlan County, Kentucky, who's also got out of Harlan to play at the big stage, Coliseum, Rupp Arena, wherever else you all played. Of course, before we got started on the show, hearing you guys traveling all over the world, really, I mean, I'm jealous of that already. But you guys doing all right today?
Great.
Good. Yeah.
Good,
Great
awesome.
day, sunny, hot, all good.
It feels like a hair dryer's blowing in your face hot today. I mean,
No, we were
Yeah,
talking
it was
about
a
the,
little
the,
too
the
hot.
weather.
listen, they were talking earlier about going to Vegas and how the heat was there, and I sit there thinking, man, if I walk outside on the porch, it's hot to me. I ain't going nowhere like that. But we'll go ahead and get into kind of some interview questions. As you guys can see, we're pretty lax on this. It's not really like Kentucky Sports Radio where it's all formal and everything. We like to get have a good time, get to know everyone, and make it more personal, a family atmosphere. So, Debbie, how was it for you growing up, playing basketball, being competitive, and now being able to coach your daughter and watch her excel as well in the sport? How was that for you?
Well, it was a great experience. I loved coaching. Uh, I was coaching period, but then I started coaching before Blair was born, so I didn't know I was going to get to coach. But it was fun. It is very different. I was coaching 30, and I just it's elite athlete, and people who coach D1 they're just built different. So it was a lot of fun, helping her guide through her career and helping her work on her weaknesses. But I missed it really bad.
Hmm.
I
Blair,
tell you, people
go
don't
ahead, Mark.
realize. I was going to say, I remember walking into the gym at HC, and it could be at any time of the year. It could be like she was in there getting up shots every time. And I think that's kind of what you have to do to get to that next level.
Yeah, she just I don't think unless you I mean like it's just hard to explain. It's like people just really get it. It's different. It's not really just like getting up shots. It's like it's a different kind of work. It's a different kind of mindset. And she just had it at an early age. So it was fun watching her whole career just unfold.
And with that, was your career able to spot some of those things for Blair growing up? Sorry, Blair, we'll get to you in a minute. But as far as, you actually playing at the collegiate level as well and see what you had to do to take with that and then say, hey, Blair, like, I kind of know a few things. I know I'm your mom, but you still got to listen. I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I ever had, AAU wasn't big. It was always like everywhere, like Huff Park, people's backyards, boys. Always play with the boys, so I was always finding a game somewhere. So I think that served me really well. Very competitive, highly competitive. Um, and I didn't really have a lot of static around me. Like, I didn't really get into what was going on around me. I think Blair, I just played the game to play all the time. So that was able to help her. She's a lot like me in that aspect, but being able to help her, just being at that level. I never got recruited like her by no means, but being at that level and just knowing that I would tell her, even though I felt like I was a really hard coach. I would say, Blair, I would just kind of set her up. It's hard. You got to work. The mindset you got to have. How they're going to play games with you. Just the physical, not just the physical, but the mental part of the. So I think I was able to help her. I mean, you don't know until you get in those shoes what you're getting into, but she did expect hard.
Now, Blair, I want to ask you this question. I played for my dad at Ross Point, 7th and 8th grade, and it was tough being the coach's son. Did you ever have to deal with any of those pressures? Unfortunately, I'm sure the answer is yes, but I just kind of want to hear that I wasn't the only one that like suffered through this.
Oh, did I? I mean, you know who you're talking to. That woman, she's crazy, man. No,
She said she's crazy.
she's the best though. No, she was the best. I'll never forget. I think I don't even know what grade I was in. It was in middle school. I remember she just was on me. She was getting on me. I remember taking a ball and I was so mad. I like threw it down the court. I slammed it down the court. I was so mad. But I kind of looked at her like, oh, it slipped. But really, I was slamming that ball down the court. I was over it. And then we kind of had a conversation afterwards and we're like, okay, we got to chill out when we get home. No talk about basketball. And I think from there, we really learned a good balance of when to talk about basketball and when not to. So I think going into high school, we had like a really good relationship on the court, and it just made it even better. Like through the wins, and even just if I had like rough patches, and then getting over those bumps, she was always with me and always made sure to like credit me through that. But yeah, once we got to college, I mean, it's pretty cutthroat with the coaches, and yeah, they're not always on your high horse all the time. So it was good having my mom kind of teach me that, and even if it wasn't my fault in the game, I was usually the one getting blamed for it. So I learned how to take criticism and just stuff like that really well.
Yeah, I think definitely, just taking the criticism. And I will say that I really had such expectations for her that other people could make mistakes, and I knew they were going to make mistakes, but like I didn't expect Blair to make mistakes a lot. And so I was hard on her in that aspect, really. I just didn't expect her to make mistakes. So I think that's why it's really why her IQ was very high and she was very detailed in everything she did is because I was all about details and I didn't like mistakes. I didn't think she should make them. She should know better. So, but yeah.
Well, and she used the word crazy. I think more passionate is what I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, passionate's a good word.
Because like what I found unique about both of you guys when I was doing the PA for the games, like getting to know you guys on a personal level, it was like you're really laid back, you're really easy to talk to, but man, when that horn sounds, like you guys were all business. Like it was like there was no like, I knew not to talk to Coach Green during the game, and I didn't want to mess with Blair's ribs. So I just like, it's like all business.
Oh yeah. I was crazy locked in during HC time. I was locked in. I was a different person. So, and I felt like we should have won a couple actually. So, but we'll take one.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
one's better than none. Yeah. So, David, you already said earlier that, you were very competitive growing up. Blair, obviously you're competitive too. So 2-part question. Who would win a one-on-one against you two? And then who's the more competitive?
Oh.
Who's going to answer first?
I feel like we played one-on-one and I won.
I think Blair would beat me in one-on-one because I
don't know. She's probably more competitive than I am. I'll give her that. I'm competitive, okay. But she's probably, I'm like kind of chill. Like, I'm like, okay, this isn't the end of the world. Like, whatever. But then she's like competitive.
Yeah. But she's way more skilled than I was. I was an athlete. So she was a lot more skilled than me. Could shoot the ball better than me, but it's a different time. So yeah, we're both pretty competitive. I see that in everything she does, just like not like everything she did at UK, just like in her life, she's very, I won't say perfectionist because that's a little too far, but she's very competitive. I know she wanted this job that she got super bad. And it was a very hard job to get. And I think she got it out of about 300 people. So wow. It was tough to get. This job was tough. So she wanted it. She was locked in. She was a different person over the summer.
Well, that's the thing. That's almost something you can't teach. It's something you're born with. When you have that, you can lock in and focus on something. You can't really teach that.
No, I'm coaching 5th and 6th graders, and I'm telling you, like, I mean, you guys gotta, you just gotta have a little dog in you and a little competitiveness in you, So, yeah, that's tough right there in my 5th and 6th grade.
I've always said you can teach skill, but you can't teach heart. I mean,
yeah. Yes, I will say that one thing about Harlan County is we had some kids with. I really have never been to a program, and LG would tell you the same thing. With the heart of those kids were just like no other. That is a compliment to them because we've been to 3 different schools, and it's different.
I'm gonna bring on a comment real quick right here. I don't know if you ladies see it or not, but it's from, I believe it's pulling up. Johnny said,
Turner.
Go ahead, Mark. You're the better reader than I am.
I don't know if you remember Johnny Lee Turner went to HC. He says hi, and he's got a question. And he says, what aspect of UK Kentucky basketball do both of you like and enjoy, and why?
I think I definitely love the tradition, and it was just very family feel. I feel like the coaches, just like the coaches I had, they cared a lot about you off the court, not just on the court. So they were always trying to set you up for success. And even just after, I know basketball and stuff, like my coach was constantly wanting to know, like, what's my next steps? Or she would take me out to lunch and we would just sit down, talk about life, talk about what I want to do. And she was like quick to help get me contacts just to get me in the right direction. So like as soon as the conversation was over, she was like already calling people at the dinner table, just like people for me to contact with, network with, just have good conversations about like what I want next in life. So yeah, they definitely just care way more about just like who you are as people and what you're going to do with your life, because basketball is just a small aspect of who you are and just like your journey. So I think it was pretty cool, like how they set you up for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think just their tradition most definitely, and then just Blair has been prepared for the real world. I mean, her leadership skills, what she's had to go through, the ups and the downs. I mean, they really prepared her for the next level of her life, and that was big. That's big for me. And then just you're set. I mean, I'm not saying you're set. You have to take it to the next step yourself. But what she's gotten from there and from that opportunity is just going to go with her. She'll always be, a Kentucky Wildcat. So, it's just, it's really happy she was at UK.
Yeah, and then also I feel like just being at UK, I mean, they literally push you until like things that you do, you'll look after and you're like, how in the world did I just get through that? Like just practices, the conditioning that they would have you do, it's miserable in the moment, but now as I look back at it and I'm going through some stuff like very new challenges that I'm not used to, like the athlete life is gone. Like now I'm having to hit the real world and it's just so brand new. But in the back of my mind and everything that I do, I'm like, well, shoot, like I've been through these, like this pressure and everything, like so many times before, and I've gotten through it. So like in the back of my mind, I'm like, dang, this is hard. Like, how am I going to do it? But then I'm also like, well, shoot, like I've done this my entire life. Like I've done this my whole college career. So I think they really set you up for just like playing under pressure and just always being under pressure in your life and just overcoming like crazy obstacles that you just didn't think that you could get through.
It's kind of neat that you say that, because like even at church this evening we were talking about how God will bring obstacles in your life to prepare you for something else down the road. You know, so it's kind of neat that you talk about it like that.
Yeah.
Don't really know where to go after that comment, Mark. I totally got what you're saying, but it's kind of hard to go with another question. But we'll bring on Matt's question here.
We got another question. You can bring it up.
he put on here, Blair, are you going to follow the family steps or family tradition to coach? And now I want to go ahead and comment before this. It kind of seems like when you had your injury, you kind of picked up a little bit of that while you was at UK, doing some videos, scouting more or less reports and everything. So is that something that we can expect, possibly maybe link it back up with UK as a coach?
Probably not. I don't know. That's a lot. I mean, coaching is a whole lot. I mean, I love basketball. I'm very passionate about it, and just I enjoy going and doing camps and teaching like the younger kids, and especially just giving back to my community and the girls that are there. I love doing that, but I'm like after a day, just a couple hours of working them out, I'm like, geez, like I'm exhausted.
Me too.
So I love doing it every once in a while, but I'm not sure if I could. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe, but I kind of like exploring other options and just seeing what my other passions are. So
yeah, she's a natural. I will say that, but I have not encouraged her to do it. Well, I mean,
yeah.
At the level UK, it's your life. I mean, it's not what you think. It's a whole different level, and at this level, you don't get paid enough. So.
I don't think people realize the hours coaches put in. Like if you're a good coach, you put in time, and people don't realize that. They just see the position.
It's worth it.
I would say I'm very family. I just like if I want to do it at the college level, it's just. I mean, it's a very hard to have that kind of like work-life balance. I mean, our coaches make it work and everything, but it is a tough job. Just being away from your family, just always having something in the back of your head. Just like to work on, to push, like am I doing this right, which is with every job, but I mean basketball, it's a different animal, especially at the college level, to do that. So I salute to all my coaches to deal with.
Well, maybe not the college level, possibly starting lower maybe in the future. Is that something you might think you'll do? Because I mean, what's crazy is college level, you put in hours and hours. In the junior high and grade school, you still put in hours because you got to wait for the parents to come actually pick the kid up now.
Yeah, true. I don't know if I could. I think I'll stick to just doing camps and occasionally working some kids out on the side. I think that's a good mix.
Gotcha. Just let me teach you a little bit, but I don't want the responsibility like keeping you for a whole season. Go on.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I get that. But
now, have you and Macy done some camps together?
Yeah, we did the 606 camp. So this summer was kind of hard just with her starting her job and me my schedule was just like very unknown about like when I could have interviews and everything like that was just kind of up in the air. But yeah, we never got to do one together, but we would love to do another 606 camp, which I think hopefully next summer and stuff, it'll become more of a traditional thing since we kind of have our schedules and life kind of starting to get together. But this summer was a little hard.
They wanted to bring one to Harlan County, so.
Hey,
yeah, we do want to bring one to Harlan County.
Well, I just think it's neat that you and Macy are friends, and like Debbie and Patty were such good friends growing up. It's just kind of neat the way it's kind of carried on?
Oh my goodness, Macy has been ringing my phone all day, and I've been in meetings, and she's over here like texting me like, "Bro, like, why are you not answering me?" And I'm like, "I am in meetings, woman." But yeah, she's fun. We talk 24/7, but
yeah, you talking about her work. She's actually said she'll join us sometime. She's just been so busy. She's just not been able to.
Yes, she has. Yeah.
So talking about planning, I'm going to bring up this comment just because I kind of think it's comical. I know you've been busy planning something as the comment pops up here. Is the hubby finally healthy and ready to play for Cincinnati?
Well, I don't think he's a hubby yet, but
that's the planning part, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he is good and healthy and ready to go. So hopefully I took all of the injuries last year with my Achilles and I told him he gave me bad karma. I said, when we met, I got all the injuries. Like, what's going on here? But hopefully I took all that from him. So now he'll be healthy to play.
So did you all just meet through channels at UK? Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, we just kind of got introduced the summer he transferred in, and that's just kind of how we met. We go to the gym, we get some shots up, go get ice cream. So yeah, we clicked pretty quick.
That's awesome.
So I want to backtrack just a little bit, if you don't mind. I want to talk about the recruiting and kind of when did you realize, both of y'all, because Debbie, I mean, you have to be pushing her, of course. When did you, like, what age were you all, Blair, when you said, hey, college level, the elite level, as far as UK and above, is an opportunity that I really can get into here. I've just got to get in here and work. Like, when did it say, hey, I'm really good at basketball, I can be recruited and let's go for this?
Yeah, I would probably say, I mean, maybe mom thinks differently or earlier. I would definitely
She's
say I
going to say
got
at
serious
birth.
about it around 5th or 6th grade when I kind of got into the AAU. I had a really good AAU coach from Knoxville. She was the point guard for Pat Summitt's first national championship team. So she was just big into skills. She coached some All-Americans and that played for Tennessee. So I think that was when it got really competitive. We won 6th grade nationals. So that was pretty big. And I think from there, all the girls that I played AAU with, they all went on to play college basketball too. So I think that was kind of the turning point for me and just figuring out, just really learning the skills and just the motivation. And Coach Collier was like really able to coach us through just colleges and people looking at us. And I got my first offer, I think 7th or 8th grade by Vandy. And I remember talking to Coach Mitchell on the phone in like 7th or 8th grade in the principal's office. So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So definitely probably 5th or 6th grade, I really started getting more exposure and just really the skill level for it.
I know we've probably been called to the principal's office, but it's never to talk to a coach.
That's what I was about to say. I got to talk to Dad in 7th grade in the principal's office, but it's because I was in trouble. But what about you, Debbie? When did you say, hey, my girl's got it, let's go?
Probably her 6th grade year, when she started, like she said, I did not let her play travel ball. We didn't get into it until her 6th grade year because I knew who I wanted her to play for, and I knew that was Shelly, so I didn't really want to start. We didn't really start with like a team that just kind of went to just like a lot of little tournaments. Like I knew what we were going to do. I already had a plan that if she was good enough, and I thought she was, that we would go to her. They put a team together. And it's basically all Division I athletes in the 6th grade. They're all got offers. And getting ready. I mean, they don't yet, but they're eventually do.
Right.
So that was a pretty special team. And then we were playing teams, like from New York and Texas and like the top team of each state. And then we won that nationals. And then the next year we played with her again. And then we switched and we knew we were going to go to Kentucky Premier. And then we started straight out with an EYBL team her freshman year. And so, yeah, after that, I mean, like we had like my phone, Blair, they couldn't talk to Blair yet, but it just stayed. I was constantly on the phone with coaches. I mean, UConn, UCLA, I mean, like everyone. So, yeah, we had, at Harlan County, UConn was at Harlan. Everybody come to watch a practice. We had Vandy and Kentucky and Louisville, UConn and UCLA and Oklahoma, and it got really insane a little bit. A lot of people probably didn't even know that, but
that's awesome. Actually, I didn't know.
Yeah, we had a lot. They would just come to watch us practice, and Louisville stayed in our gym. I mean, Coach Walls was flying in. He had a private helicopter, and they flew into the airport all the time, didn't they, Blair?
Yeah. Holly from Tennessee, she rode her motorcycle.
Yeah,
to Harlan County. Yeah. I remember after the game, she was driving away on her motorcycle, and I don't think she could really talk to me or whatever, but she's like, good game, Blair, and she's like driving off on her motorcycle. I got like a call from her that night. It was funny.
So we knew pretty much at an early age, and then it got crazy, and then we were just kind of like over it. Like it was a lot. So some people like to keep it going, and then I think when and you start taking some unofficial visits before your official visits, you just kind of get on campus and start getting a feel. And I think really UCLA was probably her top pick. And then I was just like, okay, I just want you to know if you get sick, I don't pick up the Pac-12 to watch a game. I can't come to every game. So, you're going to be out there on your own doing it. So, at Lexington, at least if something happens, I can be there in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, but yeah, I knew at an early age that, 6th, 7th grade, that this was getting ready to, something big was getting ready to happen. If she stayed healthy and kept continuing to work and getting better and had a passion for it and had the fire. So, yeah, it was good.
I just think it's neat. We were talking to Trent last week about how the AAU scene has kind of changed basketball. Like back in the day, like when I was in high school, I don't even remember AAU being around much. And like it seems like a lot of the recruiting is going on through the AAU process now.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the name of the game. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's just crazy. So you definitely want to be on a good team. It doesn't matter if you're be on a good team. You want to have a good coach. You want to have good people around you. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and have most travel teams. If you're on a good team, you're not going out there and having 20-point games. You're just, like 8 to 10 points. Everybody's good. I mean, she played with Grace Berger, who's in the WNBA. She played with, great players. So everybody's having like 8 points, 10 points. But yeah, it really has changed the game. And, but then you got Ron Howard, who played with Blair, who's the #1 draft pick, one of her best friends. She didn't even play She didn't even play much AAU ball.
Really?
Didn't. No. She didn't get an offer from Tennessee. She didn't get an offer from a lot of schools that Blair had offers from, just because she didn't really get out on the circuit. And she just came and stayed at home, and I don't know, it worked out for her.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Blair, I mean, I'm going to totally have no shame on this, but just so you know, we did send a message to Ryan about coming on the show too. Haven't heard anything back. But
she's a tough girl to get a hold of. I'm going to her game Sunday. She plays in Indiana, so I can see her and Grace.
Okay,
so
because Kentucky, they've been putting some stuff out on some of their pages about trying to take a whole bus from UK up to watch her play up there in Indiana. So that's pretty neat that they're, like you talk about the family, how they're actually still trying to do that and stay connected. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, she FaceTimed me the other day, and she's like, "Are you coming to my game?" And I'm like, "Do you have a choice?" I'm like, can I really say no to you? So
yeah, that was like yes. The answer is yes.
I'll be there.
Well, guys, we're almost to the 30 minutes. I don't want to take too much of your all's times. I know you guys are busy. If you all want to stay, we can keep on because, I mean, this is fun just having a conversation. But, I know you guys are busy. We can call it quits anytime you all want to. But we got to ask some hot seat questions before you all go. Does that sound fair first?
I take no responsibility for any of the hot seat questions.
Now, I wrote a couple, but then I get random. It just is, it's how I am, okay? All right, here we go. Mark, do you have any that you want to ask?
No, you just go right ahead, man.
Really? Well, if one pops in your head, ask, okay? All right, favorite foods?
Pizza. Oh, gosh. Pizza. Yeah, pizza is my favorite food.
Oh, you can't just say pizza. What are the toppings on it?
Just pepperoni.
Pizza? Oh, pepperoni, sun-dried tomatoes, and hot honey.
You had me at pepperoni, lost me at sun-dried tomatoes.
I shouldn't even ask.
I hate sun-dried tomatoes on everything.
What in the world? This is you've stumped me here. I don't even know what to say after that. I thought all tomatoes were in the
Try it
sun.
in your eggs. Try it in your eggs. It's good. Change your life.
Okay.
I'll stick with ketchup.
Oh.
Right. Favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Who'd you say, Debbie?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman makes sense. Spider-Man. Okay. If basketball wasn't a passion, what else would you have done?
Beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball. Okay.
Oh gosh, really know what I'd be doing. Probably.
Debbie says I've been in basketball so long.
Oh, she'd be a professional dog walker.
I was going to say a vet. Debbie, just so you know, I've actually talked to you before. I know this is actually the first time we've met, but I used to work at Tractor Supply in Harlan, and, you'd come in all the time, and I'll be like, hey, I know her. But anyways.
Oh, that's
sorry.
good. Oh.
But, okay, so we've got superhero favorite food. What's worst favorite food? Like, what's the most nastiest thing? Like, to me, mustard ain't touching it. What about you guys?
Oh, yeah, I hate mustard. Sauerkraut.
Livers.
Oh, yes.
Okay. What's your?
Tell me I can't be from the South.
Because you don't like livers?
like chicken livers.
Because I don't like kraut.
Oh yeah. What have you ever had frog legs?
I don't think I've ever had frog legs.
Me neither.
Maybe I have.
Those are actually pretty good. Not gonna lie.
I heard they taste like chicken.
They always say it tastes like.
Trying to be King Buffet.
Okay. There's a boxing match. Debbie versus Blair. Who wins?
Oh,
me.
Low.
Tie ball game. You guys are on the same team. 3 seconds left to go in the game. Who's getting the final shot?
Me.
Yeah, probably Mom. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, guys. That's just a few quick questions there. I do appreciate it. That's all I really got. I'm not going to get too crazy since Mark's like not taking responsibility at all for me. But again, thank you all so much for joining, taking time out of your day to join Cats Chat Pod. We do appreciate it. Hopefully, we do this again another time.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank
all right,
you.
Thank you all.
And good luck with your upcoming wedding and your new job.
Thank you.
All right.
And good luck
y'all have a good one
this year. See you guys.
See ya.
Well, that was fun.
That was awesome. Sauerkraut is nasty. Glad mustard that she agreed.
I kind of froze up during that whole transaction of talking there. I was like, that's the one thing I've always told people. I don't know if it's like the vinegar with the kraut or what it is, but like the smell of it.
The whole name sounds nasty. Sour and kraut.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that love it. And they're like, oh, you put the little, see, Chris right here. No, sauerkraut is awesome. See, now I have trust issues with Chris.
Well, see, Chris, I wouldn't even know how to spell that, so I'm glad we said sauerkraut before you typed it.
There's just something about it I've never been able to deal with. And like, I'm a large man. I eat many foods, but sauerkraut is not one of them.
Do you want to go ahead on that one?
Yeah, just had another question. Where I do the radio for Harlan County, he's asking me about how Swanner's doing. He was actually at school this week. The good thing is there were no breaks. They thought I'm sorry, my voice is going out. They thought at first he may have had a compound fracture. That's what we were getting in the booth. But he ended up dislocating his kneecap. He told me it hurt worse than anything he'd ever dealt with. He said his kneecap was basically underneath his knee, under his leg in the bend. And he said, I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. But they got him, took him to UT. They put it back in place, and they're waiting to do an MRI to just see if there's any damage to the MCL, ACL, all that stuff. Worst case scenario, he's got a tear. He's probably going to have surgery with that. Best case scenario, they stretched, where he's very athletic, always working. They're thinking maybe they could have stretched and it popped out of place and got stuck. So we're just waiting. He's waiting for his MRI to see, but he's in good spirits. He said, worst case scenario, I want to be back at least by the middle of baseball season. So I appreciate you asking about it. I'm sure he'll be glad too. I was just glad it wasn't more serious because I'm not going to lie. I was worried that night when I saw the reaction from the sideline.
Oh, yeah, especially with a knee dislocation like that, because I think back, heck, you and I, we've played basketball, probably 20 plus years together, pickup and everything. And I think of Andrew Lewis, who just was dribbling down the lane on a drive and tried to do a jump stop, and his kneecap shifted, whatever, and we had to take him out to the ER. And me and I think Jared Howard's basically was out there for 4 hours with him, and his kneecap was just moved, and they're like, "Oh no, it just looks like it's out of place." I'm like, "No, man, like he can't even move on this." He ended up having to have surgery. I think was out for like 6 months, couldn't even walk. So for it to be all the way behind his knee, that's pretty tough.
Well, so, we're just praying. It's in the Lord's hands. It's something you can't go back and change it. Because I asked him what happened because I couldn't see from my side, and he said when he planted his leg, he felt his knee kind of hyperextend, and where they were tackling him from behind, it just kind of crushed him, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
It just kept it going that way. But he's in good spirits. His girlfriend's taking care of him. It seems like he was.
Gotcha.
He looked like he was living the life. When he was going up and down the hallway there in a wheelchair. So,
gotcha. Get some extra attention for the injuries. I gotcha. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and transition to some of the Kentucky football preseason awards. And by awards, what I mean on that is actually the preview or the watch list on that. We've got a few of our players, and I actually think some snubs in a way. But, Mark, I don't know if you've been able, especially with school starting back, to dive into it any whatsoever. I'm also – let's see here. I guess I can click here. So we'll go through this kind of quick because you do sound pretty rough right now. You look – better than your voice sounds, so that's always a plus.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or
exactly. So just real quick, some of the things I think happened yesterday on an announcement: 3 cats in the preseason coaches all SEC team. I've got it on my phone. Let me bring it up here so it looks like I'm looking at you guys a little bit. Eli Cox on offensive line, JJ Weaver linebacker, and Dion Walker. I think it's Dion, right? Okay,
I believe so.
He may be a little nervous, and you know how I am about reading. Defensive line as well. These guys, Weaver and Walker, was second team, and Cox is third team. I feel like Walker, we can even maybe talk a little bit about it. They had to take him out of practice the other day, their scrimmage, because he was dominating so much on the defensive side that they had to bench him so they could actually scrimmage. And this guy is the second team. I feel like that's the biggest snub for me is what we're hearing with the social medias, On3, A Sea of Blue, Kentucky Sports Radio, everyone covering the Kentucky football team, is that Walker sounds like he may be possibly the next Josh Allen from Kentucky's defense a long time ago. Weaver will be an All-American. Yeah, I think some of these guys that aren't even mentioned – oh, you mean Walker? Okay, yeah. Walker, I think, is going to be our main guy this year. So for him to be on the second team, to me, is pitiful. I don't know if you've had much – go ahead.
I'm just going to say I've seen a lot of people talking. I've not really looked at the awards and the preseason stuff like that, but just how they believe Kentucky's a sleeper team in the SEC. A lot of people are sleeping on them. They believe they're going to be a lot deeper and a lot better than a lot of people are giving them credit for. A lot of people want to say, "Oh, it's UK, it's the same." I'm telling you, man, the atmosphere has changed with UK football. So I believe we're going to be a lot better than what a lot of people believe.
Yeah, I even seen a report. I think it was done today. I can't remember what website I seen it on, but the gentleman was trying to predict each games throughout, and they had us losing 4 straight. I think it was the Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, and someone else. I can't remember who it was. And I had them finishing out with 7-5 record. I think it was. I still feel like I don't know why South Carolina is so much better projected than Kentucky. I know Beamer's offense, Beamer ball, that whole 9 yards, but I just feel like Kentucky's defense in the past 5 years, our defense alone has been in the SEC ranked like no higher than 5th. I think it was like 1st, then it went to 3rd, 2nd, 5th, and so on, I think. So to me, I think we're above a 7-team or a 7-game win. I know we've talked about this prior episode. I think episode 1, maybe we talked about the football schedule. No, we talked more about basketball. I think episode 2, we talked about basketball more. But anyways, I'm with Matt. I've got them 9 or 10, and I think 10's high, but I've got them at 9 with you right there. Chris, I'm sorry. While I'm talking, you chatted a lot in that comment. I haven't had a chance to read it and see what you're talking about there. But to me, 7 is bare minimum on that, really. So, and it might be a little bit of a homer take for me. But anyways, that's just kind of where I'm on that. Bama, Georgia, and Tennessee, Matt says, are losses. That was the other team that I left out. And then, of course, they have them as South Carolina on a loss as well.
Now, is Walker a sophomore?
Yes. Yeah, he's just a sophomore and already causing chaotic in the scrimmages. Now, also,
he's a big dude. They say he's like 6'6", 350.
Yeah. I wrote in my text to you player of the year watch, but that is incorrect. It's comeback player of the year is what that should have been. And let's see here. We got Jefferson and see here, Leary. I think Devin Leary and Ramon Jefferson are two of the players that are being watched for comeback player of the year. I think Leary is a perfect candidate for this as going away from North Carolina State, coming back with Cohen on this offense that I think has more offensive weapons and a deep tight end list as well in the roster spot that Key, Davis, even some of the tight ends that I didn't even say right there, he's going to have a lot of options on this. So I do think Leary is in a perfect spot for, I said Brown, I said Davis, I meant Brown, yeah. As Mac said here, I think Leary can easily have a big year this year. I love that he's in the comeback player of the year. Do you think he's got a shot at it?
Who's that? You saying Leary?
Leary, yes.
I think he's got a good shot at it. Just, because they said he was doing fairly well at North Carolina State before he got hurt. You suffer a big injury like that, and now he's moving to the SEC. So I think he has a very good shot for comeback player of the year.
All right, let's see here. Another award is the Chuck Benark, if I said that right, Benaric, I think, award and watch is JJ Weaver on that. The Butkus Award watch is for Wallace, Trevin Wallace, and then the Davis O'Brien watch is Leary again on that as well. There's a couple more. I think there's a Bronco. I'm trying to say these names, guys. Bear with me. Bronco Nagarki
is what it looks like. I thought you just misspelled it.
No. That's actually letter for letter is Deion Walker. So I think it's weird that Walker is on some of these other awards of being like the standout defense player, but yet he's second string. I guess that's kind of what I wanted to put on there, showing the award watch, and then we have that he's a secondly. Absolutely, we have the best wide receiver corps ever had. He's
Chris
got the
said Nagurski. That's how you say it, Michael.
Nagurski. Thank you, Chris. I am Appalachian as they come, let me tell you. But that's
you didn't put an S in it. That's probably when you spelled it to me, so that might be why.
Oh yeah, I didn't have the S.
I'm missing the S, so
that makes more sense.
It.
All right, but my thing to you, Mark, on this, and I don't know if you've had much to look at it. Do you think that because to me, Key wasn't even mentioned on any of these awards, like even just a watch, and I think he's going to have a big year this year.
I think he is too. You got a quarterback that's going to be looking to spread the ball around. Mm-hmm. I think Key's going to have a good year. Now, could it be one of those situations where he spreads the ball around so much? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Nobody is really a standout. I would honestly love that, just for the fact that tells me you're moving the ball. Mm-hmm. If you're getting the ball in different hands, that means you're moving the ball. Your offense is flowing. So, but I do believe Dane Key can definitely have a big year. And like Matt just said right here, the O-line is much better. We're getting back to the whole big blue wall. Mm-hmm. And you got to love it. You got to have a little excitement, ready for it.
Yeah, just like Coach Morrow on our episode number 3, I think it was, talked about some of the transfer offensive lines. I think it was tackles that he had transfer in. Definitely going to play a big part on bringing back the blue wall. And, of course, he did allude to actually still having the running game as well. I really feel like this is going to be a very balanced year for them.
People forget Robinson's back. Yeah.
Yeah, and even Robinson. But I don't know. Maybe Robinson will be the number 2. I think Dane is going to have a better year. Personal opinion. Because I think Brown's speed and everything, Dane's going to have the deep ball attack, I guess. It's going to have more bigger plays, and I think it'd be more highlight standout plays like that. Brown's going to end up having double coverage quite a bit, running the 5 and ins, 5 and outs, the slants and stuff, just with his speed. Robinson is the 3, maybe. Well, he's the slot, as Matt just says here. So maybe Dane or maybe Key doesn't catch as many balls, but has the bigger yardage as far as in the game on big plays. Maybe that's where I'm going with that on that, as far as having a bigger highlight year. Because usually the big plays are going to get you noticed for the awards too. But
yeah,
I just when I see
one
some
thing that
of these,
helps Key too is his height. It really helps at the wide receiver position. He's 6'3". A lot of times your DBs don't have a lot of height to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get those players that have that height on them, sometimes they can outjump those DBs, and it really helps.
Right. And I agree with you on that too, because most of the DBs are 6 foot or under. It just seems like you'll get a 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" every now and then. But if they're that tall, they're usually on offense because they can catch it and out jump everyone.
Well, that's one of the things that really helped Middlesboro last week, even against Harlan County. Their defensive backs, every one of them were like 6'2", 6'3".
Really?
So
okay.
It made it rough because their main offensive weapons were their DBs.
Right.
So it was like you go from Middlesboro's got a special team this year. They're going to be a team to watch.
We weren't really going to talk about high school that much, but Corbin, if you've seen their game, their highlights, like they are pretty much a walking D1 defensive line.
Their highlights were unbelievable against the team from Cincinnati. And it gets me even a little more excited finding out the fact that the
Twins,
was it the defensive lineman Twins?
Or
are they offensive linemen? I can't remember.
They're defensive
linemen. That's what I thought. But they're trying to push them to flip from Michigan to Kentucky.
I'm going to be honest. I've got a source, nothing in Kentucky sources, but I've got someone who lives close to Corbin that has been telling me Kentucky is going to be flipping them. He was pretty aggressive on saying
they are definitely gonna pursue them heavily.
Oh yeah. And
it could be kind of like the same situation with what Debbie talked about with Blair. UCLA was probably her first choice, but if you stay a little closer to home,
Mama can take care of you still.
That's right.
But with that being said, the person I'm talking about has someone who plays on the Corbin team as well. And he was just kind of talking about that Cincinnati team was supposed to be pretty good. And they were just talking about compare the heights and size and everything. It looked like a JV team against the Corbin team. And so just the difference with that and the D1s, I think where is one? Of course, the Twins are at Michigan. I think there's one at Oklahoma that's signed as well. So, yeah, they really are a D1 line, basically. So that Corbin team is going to be very good during this football. And they actually play Frederick Douglass this year, which is where Key went to Burton or offensive center went to as well. So, I mean, they are producing D1 level players as well. So that's going to be a great game.
They're going to be a fun team to watch this year for sure. I think it'd be neat to just be able to go watch them in person this year.
Oh, yeah.
The talent level they have.
Cats Chat on the road. Let's go.
Let's do it.
And of course, not even mention, we kind of dipped down into the high school, but our actual recruit for Kentucky at football up at Lexington Christian, I think he had 4 touchdown passes over 300 yards.
You talking about Cutter?
Cutter, yeah. I think 374 yards in the air and 4 touchdown passes as well. So, yeah, there's talent in Kentucky big time. So it's great to be watching.
Mentioned Boyle County over here. Man, the Boyle County Corbin matchup, if that happens again, is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Mark, that's really all I want to talk about with the preseason awards. We're coming up 50 minutes now, and I know your voice is cracking. I don't know why my post on the start bench cut did not happen, but
it didn't pop up until right before we went live.
Seriously, because I sent it like at.
I didn't see it until then, but.
Well, I sent it at like 6 o'clock, I think, this evening, and I was trying to find it where I could bring it up on the screen, and I never could see it. Did it pop up on Facebook?
Yeah, I saw it on the Facebook side.
On the Facebook. Let me see if I can find it real quick because I've got my Cats Chat Pod Facebook here.
Let me hit input on this one.
Has anybody commented yet?
I've not looked.
Okay.
I just saw it on there.
Okay, let's see here.
Sorry, I've ran out of water. I'm getting really squeaky.
That's okay. I see us live on their page. Come join us. And okay, here it is. There we go. So to not start, bench, and cut, we're sticking with the football theme, and we're going back to, we kind of talked a little bit about quarterback play, our favorite quarterbacks of all time at Kentucky. And this one is going to be a little more up to date as 2000s years, I guess. Tell me, does it show up on your screen there?
Yeah.
Start, bench, cuts. Terry touchdown, Terry, Woodson, or Levis? Who you got, Mark?
Oh, man. Probably going to start Woodson, bench Levis, and cut Wilson.
Ooh, you're benching touchdown Terry?
No, I'm cutting touchdown Terry.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, you're cutting completely?
And it'll be a toss-up for me between Levis and Woodson on who to start and who to bench. Probably who looked better in practice the week before, you know?
Oh, don't you sound like a coach now. So I'm actually going to say I agree with you. I actually thought you would go with Levis, but I think Woodson, we forget some of the drive that he had to come back and win some of these games, the desire that he would spread against the offense, just contagious in a way of the way he would lead. Levis, yes, he had a great career with Kentucky, especially his junior year. He was a good football player. I just think Woodson didn't really have much. Let me take that back. I think Woodson really turned the stone for us of being an elite football program started then, because I think he even had us ranked up to 4th in the nation at one point. That he really just carried us on the back and put us into the spotlight. Levis is who I'm going to bench because he is a good player. He's a superstar. He's in the NFL for a reason. We're going to see if he can actually maybe be second string, battle for that starting position at some point in his career. I'm with Chris on this, except for the bench. I've also heard the nickname, unfortunately, also as Turnover Terry, and I was going to say that, but you beat me to it, Chris. So, yeah, I'm going to cut Wilson and bench Levis and start Woodson. So we're actually together on this. Hopefully it's not just because we're the same decade of watching sports, really.
He just called him 3 and out, Terry. Oh, man.
3 and out, Terry.
And I'm like,
Terry
he did help us get a Florida. Terry Wilson was fun to watch when he was good. He was really good. But, man, when he was bad, it was like he'd make a mistake and you'd be like, oh, no, you know. But it's one of those things is you cannot shoot yourself in the foot at any level in sports. If you go out there and you play a game and you're turning the ball over, your chances of winning go down tremendously.
And with college football, and I'm expressing college, the way that they do the playoffs and the whole rankings of that, it's very hard to have those slip up or those errors or mindset mess ups that cause you a loss that you should have won, because you've got 13 games, we said 9 and 3, so 12 games that you can play in. And if you lose one of those games, you may not be making a bowl. And I feel like Kentucky's now at that level where that's not totally hard on us to not make the bowl, but it helps us, or it could hurt us to be in the rank 25 or whatnot. We won 10 games in spite of Wilson, not because of him.
His point about him struggling to make decisions, and that's one of the keys to a good quarterback. You got to have somebody that has good decision making. It's like having a point guard in basketball that sees the floor. They got to be able to lead and see the floor and move the ball. And that's the thing with a quarterback. You got to know your reads. You got to know when to audible. You got to know when to tuck the ball and run. Mm-hmm. You got to know when to throw the ball away. And I agree with Chris. The decision making was a struggle.
But he still was a great quarterback at Kentucky.
He was fun to watch. I mean, he was exciting to watch.
He was a highlight reel. Well, that really is all I got for today. I'm so glad that the interview, the conversation with Blair and Debbie Green went as well as it did and as long as it did. I really think we could have still been talking with them because
they were fun to talk to. I hate it was almost like Debbie's mic was cutting out a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was on my end or your end or.
It was on my end too, but we was able to punch through and understand what she was getting at. It's fun listening to a woman play at college, Kentucky, and then also her daughter follow in the footsteps and play at Kentucky as well. Just really cool to see that and see.
And it was kind of neat because, we talked about how Macy and Blair are good friends, and Debbie and her mom were such good friends coming up. A lot of people never even made that connection because, I was like, I just know Patty's husband really well, Lewis Morris, because he went to our church when we were little,
right?
So it's just kind of neat how everything was connected.
Oh yeah, it's a family full of basketball love for sure, or sports. Let me just say that because
it's like most families in Kentucky.
Ain't that the truth?
I mean, it's a Kentucky thing.
But guys, as you all can see, scrolling constantly down there at the bottom, you can follow us on X, that is formerly known as Twitter. Also Instagram and Facebook by going to whatever the website is, and then at Cats Chat Pod. And you can follow us on all those platforms. We appreciate it. Also, YouTube, we're on there as well. If you can't remember what I just told you, remember this. You can go to the link tree /at Cats Chat Pod, and you can find all the social media links as well. Guys, I did not realize I had this error as it scrolls down at the bottom. We are now on Spotify. My wife called me out on it and said we are not on Spotify. That was supposed to be a W that whole time. Did not realize I had that typo. But we are on Spotify. We are also on Apple Pod and iHeartRadio for podcasts.
So we are on Apple now.
We are on all three of those main podcasts.
My kids at school have been asking me, "Hey, are you on Apple?" And
yes.
There's a lot of people that can't really tune in and watch, so they're like, "Can I go back and listen, like when I'm working out or something?" And I was like, "I will let you know as soon as possible."
Of course, you can always go to the YouTube and listen to it that way, but you got to let it scroll, or on Facebook as well. But yes, we are on the podcast platforms, and we would appreciate any subscribe, any 5-star rating on those as well. So yeah, come on. I'm saying it now for all the students at Harlan County High School that has Mark as a teacher or as a teacher. If you subscribe and show him a picture of you subscribing to any of this, for everyone, you will get
bonus points.
A bonus point for each one that you subscribe to. So you've got a chance at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and podcast. So you've got a chance for 5 bonus points, and we'd appreciate that. I see we got a comment. I got to click over here onto this. Chris says he's working out now. Man, you ain't working out, Chris. We know that because you can't type while you work out.
It's during his break time. Leave him alone.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But Mark, where can everyone find you at on social media?
Well, of course, on Facebook, you can just find me at Mark Lawson. I can't even talk. Mark Lawson. You can see a picture of me and the great Bill Ellis calling the game as the picture. You find me on Instagram, Big Daddy Lawson. And, of course, I've got my Twitter or X handle right there at MLawson15. I sound like a squeaky chair, and I apologize for that.
What was that? Oh my goodness, I'm so ADHD. What was it? The little squeaky and the toy. I think it was a kids movie.
Well, I mean, that's what's weird is like everybody's asking me like how did this happen? I said, well, I've had allergies for the last week or so, just a runny nose and stuff. And I said, because somebody's like, you got COVID, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I don't have COVID. Because I said I've not really felt bad, other than how you feel when you have allergies.
You look bad, but that's every day.
Well, that's every day. Yeah, I can't help that. But I was like, I think what happened is just with the allergies and me, I called PA for a couple games on Saturday, then went in radio for those games, and just on top of talking while I teach,
of course.
It's just I've done too much to my voice, and I'm sitting here worried. Like I told you, I was like, I don't even know if I can do the podcast. I'm definitely worried about calling the game on Friday. Doing play-by-play is going to be a little rough because.
Is Josh on the radio with you for football? You might have to say, Josh, I need you to step up today.
Yeah, may have to do that.
Yeah. But you can find me, MD Lawson 00, pretty much on all social media platforms. Also, if you guys enjoyed what we did here, I've got another podcast. Here's my shirt, MNC Hoops, where it's everything NBA on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I have to say that because the other people.
I wasn't even thinking. I should have done a shameless plug to Blair about a DJ for her wedding.
I started to say it. I kid you not, but I was like, well, that might be awkward for me to say it. But guys, we appreciate everything you guys do, subscribing, all that whole 9 yards. Thank you for tuning in, staying with us that long. Why did Chris?
He's definitely working out. He wanted you to know.
Okay, Chris, you made an appearance. You're now officially our third special guest on the podcast today. But guys, as always, as I said the past 2 times, number 1, love God. Number 2, love others. And number 3, love Kentucky sports.
God bless.